With the NFL draft in our rearview mirror, we can now focus on getting Brandon Aiyuk paid. So now the conversation has shifted towards positive, optimistic things regarding the contract situation with Brandon Aiyuk, which is fantastic. And I am very, very excited to hear where things are going with BA and the San Francisco 49ers. Now, it doesn't mean it's going to happen anytime soon. We do know the 49ers like to wait. So I would imagine that's kind of the case right here. But we do get an update from Ian Rapoport. So I'll let you take a listen to what he had to say. And hey, I'm hearing some things too, but take a listen right here.
Yeah, the Pearsall pick really made everyone scratch their heads and go, maybe they really are trading Brandon Aiyuk. It doesn't seem like that is in the cards, at least right now. My understanding on the situation, really something that has been consistent since the draft, is that the 49ers are moving forward with Brandon Aiyuk on their roster. Now, how much will he make next year? That's really the big question. They have been in contract negotiations, trying to get him to a long-term deal, trying to get to a point where he will accept their offer. And the fact that the receiver market for the really, really good receivers has been more defined over the last month or so helps. You had Devontae Smith with the Philadelphia Eagles, about $25 a year. You had Amon-Ra St. Brown, a little more than that, say about $28 million over the first 3 years. You figure that Brandon Aiyuk will be somewhere in there. Exactly where remains to be seen. But again, my understanding is the focus is on bringing him back next season. They view him as a key part of their offense.
So Ian Rapoport talked about multiple things, and I think one of the more important things is that the market for wide receiver has solidified. Heading into this situation, into the draft, we really didn't know. And then we had the A.J. Brown signing. We had Devonta Smith get signed. We had even the Calvin Ridley during free agency really kind of shook up the market. But with all these signings, it has solidified the market. So we know, and don't forget Amon-Ra St. Brown's deal right before the draft as well. But all of these deals have helped solidify the market and where Brandon Aiyuk has been placed in that ultimate regard. So what you hear from Ian Rapoport is him basically saying things have become a little bit more clear. Obviously, we're beyond the draft. The San Francisco 49ers were reportedly not going to trade Brandon Aiyuk at all unless they were going to get a deal that resembles what the Titans traded A.J. Brown to the Eagles for, which was a first and a third. And the 49ers weren't going to budge at all unless getting a king's ransom. And this is exactly what we talked about every single time we discussed the Brandon Aiyuk situation. And no team ever showed up. And so as a result of that, Brandon Aiyuk is here to stay, and we are now on the path of getting a deal done. As we've heard from Ian Rapoport, it does sound like things are moving in an optimistic light. And again, I'm never going to play the sources game. That's not something I have any interest in being a part of. However, having this platform and having some connections, I do hear some information, and some of the information that I have heard so far about where we currently are at with Brandon Aiyuk and the San Francisco 49ers has me feeling very positive, very optimistic, and just has me waiting for that notification of when Brandon Aiyuk is going to get paid. Based on the information that I've received, they actually aren't that far away. In regards to the specifics of things, I really don't want to get into a ton of details in regards to what I have heard, but I do want to let you guys know it sounds like things are moving in the right direction. And when we look at what Brandon Aiyuk is going to be paid and where the market is currently set, I originally had his contract slotted in $26 to $28 million per year on average. It might have shifted up a little bit with the Amon-Ra St. Brown deal and the A.J. Brown deal. And that's one of the things that we talked about is if you're going to wait, the market is only going to rise, which is going to rise his price. Now, that's a great thing for Brandon Aiyuk and his team. The San Francisco 49ers just have to deal with that. But it does sound like things are going to be moving into a little bit higher slot for Brandon Aiyuk in regards to a per year average, which is a great thing for him. And I think the 49ers are going to be able to get a deal done here. And it's just a matter of when now is likely, typically before training camp. And as we've seen from Brandon Aiyuk, he is staying in shape. He is working his tail off with his trainers. He has a full offseason program built out, which he is executing. So I don't anticipate any type of rust or anything from Brandon Aiyuk when it comes to showing up to training camp. Brandon Aiyuk has been the best player at training camp the past 2 seasons in a row. And I expect a three-peat from BA when he shows up to Santa Clara for training camp. So I'm really looking forward to getting this situation behind us. But of course, as we know, where we currently stand, it's just a waiting game. But plenty of optimism from what you're hearing from Ian Rapoport, optimism from the things and the details that I've heard. And now we just wait. So I'm very, very excited about where the 49ers currently stand, where BA currently stands in this situation. I'm fully a believer that BA is going to get the bag. It's always been the belief. We just knew heading into the draft there were some variables that did exist, and those variables are now gone. They're dissipated into thin air. They do not exist anymore. I know there's been some like Steelers rumors floating around. They're thinking they're getting Brandon Ayuk. No, they're not getting Brandon Aiyuk. I don't think anyone's getting Brandon Aiyuk other than Brock Purdy for the next 3 to 4 years potentially. And we'll see what happens beyond that point. But I'm excited about where we currently stand with this situation. It was a very stressful situation based on things that I was kind of hearing, behind the scenes. But I think as it stands right now, I couldn't be more optimistic about this situation moving forward. So I'm very happy. And I think we should all be happy that that storm has passed. And it's now time to focus on getting the team, getting the boys back together and going out there and chasing another ring. Let me know what you guys think about what Ian Rapoport had to say. What do you guys think about where we are headed with the Brandon Aiyuk situation? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.